Let's take a look at the darkening blending modes. I'm talking about darken through to darker color. The most commonly used by far is multiply. What multiply does, and what the others do to varying extents, is neutralize white. What that means is, in a situation like this where I have some line art on a white background, rather than having to try to select the whites, which would be extremely difficult and wouldn't give a good result, all I need to do is select that layer and choose multiply. Everything that is white disappears. So we can use it in all sorts of scenarios. Line art, for example. Maybe we want to colorize this line art. On separate layers, I've added color. I'll just create a third layer. I'll tap I to go to my eyedropper tool, sample the brown color, and then using this as my starting point, let's go for something more red. Now B for my brush tool, and I'll just adjust the hardness of my brush. Now I'm going to paint on that layer. All I need to do now is change the order of the layers. I'll select the line art layer, drag it to the top of my layer stack, change its blending mode to multiply. Maybe you have an image that you want to combine with text. If the text is black on a white background, change to multiply, the white background disappears. Slightly more problematic if you're working with text on a background that is not white. If I change this to multiply, you'll notice that we can still see the border. We can fix this by holding down the Option or Alt key, coming to the adjustment layers, choosing levels. The light yellow of the background I need to force to white. I'll check Use Previous Layer to create clipping mask, and then I'll get my white point slider and move this to the left, and as I do so, just watch the border edge disappear. Go no further than you absolutely need to. We can use the darkening blending modes to create a double exposure. Here I have an image of a swan and an image of the river. I'll select the swan layer and come and change its blending mode to multiply. This works so easily because the swan's body is mainly white and it's on a dark background, so that we only see the river as it is framed within the shape of the swan. I could go for a more extreme effect if I chose instead linear burn. Now when I do that, two undesirable things happen. The swan's feathers become a little blue and the swan's head and neck are a little too dark. So I'm going to fix those with two adjustment layers. I want both to be clipped to the swan layer. I'll hold down Option or Alt, and from the adjustment layers, choose Levels, use Previous Layer to create clipping mask. This first one is just to color balance the swan. So I'll choose my gray point dropper and then come and click on the middle grays. The second, once again holding down Option or Alt, when I choose the adjustment layer, I'm just going to brighten things up by moving my midpoint slider to the left. Then I will come and mask that whole adjustment. Currently, if I glance over to my foreground and background colors, I see that black is my background color. So I will use the keyboard shortcut Command or Control and the backspace delete key to fill the layer mask with black. I'll choose my brush tool, Make sure that I'm working with a soft edge brush, and now painting in white, I can paint in that adjustment just where I want it. So those are some ideas for how you can work with the darkening blending modes.